YouTube, what it is, it's your boy Diesel from Diesel TV. All right, man, I'm here with another video. All right, with this video, man, I wanted to show you guys some important information when it comes to keeping up with your guns and logging them, man. If you're like me and you got a few firearms, man, you know, handguns, rifles, or whatever, even knives, you want to keep a good log of them, of where you got them from, if they've been sold or anything like that. So I'm just going to show you how I keep a log of mine. All right, what it is, man, I just have a 3-ring binder here that I keep of all the guns that I have bought and some of the ones that I've sold. I haven't sold many, man. I've probably sold about 4 or 5 of them. And the reason why I do this is because when I first started buying guns back in 2004 or 5 or somewhere around there, I was a deputy with the sheriff's department, and one morning while I was getting ready, man, I had somebody call me. He said he was with the ATF and he wanted to ask me about one of the guns I had purchased. Now, at the time, I thought it was just like one of those pranks, somebody trying to get money out of me or something like that. So I just threw it to the side. But basically what he said is that I had purchased a gun, and he told me the model of the gun. It was like a SIG Sauer or something like that. I had a SIG, but I didn't remember buying that particular model of SIG. So I told him, basically, I blew him off. I said, man, I've never bought that kind of gun, man. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Let me check my records and make sure. Well, I didn't really have any records. All I did was I went to my safe and I would keep some of the receipts or whatever like that, but I never did really keep good records of all the guns I had. So I called him back and I said, man, I don't have this gun, man. I don't know what you're talking about. So I just blew it to the side. Well, the day went on and my captain came to me, and I was actually working in narcotics. My captain came to me. He was like, hey, man, I had this ATF guy call me. What's going on with this? I was like, man, I don't know what's going on with it. He's like, man, this is something serious. You really need to be getting back in contact with this guy. Let him know what's really going on. So that's when it really hit me that, you know, this was something real and I needed to, you know, start making better logs of my guns. Long story short, came to find out, man, that the actual gun was purchased. They used my name, but it wasn't actually me. It was purchased, and my signature was not on the purchase receipt or anything like that. So, and I told him I've never been to that gun shop or anything like that. So, I was able to, they were able to investigate it and find out that it was actual an illegal purchase through somebody else. They just used, basically they found some information on me somehow, I don't know how, and found out I had some purchase receipts somehow. I have no idea also, but I was able to show them all the purchase receipts I had, which ones I used for this, which ones I used for that. I didn't have a concealed carry at the time, so it wasn't one of those things where I used it under my concealed carry. I was buying purchase permits and using those purchase permits to purchase my weapons. So when that happened, after that happened, I started logging all my guns. And basically what I do is I just take this, you know, I came up with a firearm log sheet. I have it in alphabetical order. And I just made this log sheet right here. And it basically has a line for everything. Has the make, the model, has a serial number, has as if it's a handgun, shotgun, or other, what action it is, the caliber, date acquired, amount paid, and where I got it from. Is basically, and basically if I buy a gun online and I send it to an actual gun shop, that's where I actually put down where I bought it from. Also, I put it in these plastic sheets, and in these plastic sheets I also have like a receipt, the actual receipt from the place that I got it from, things of that sort. The thing about it is, man, I don't just keep it on this. I keep it also online, you know, in Dropbox or something like that. I'll take a picture of the gun, I'll put it on the log sheet. Pretty much everything that I can put about this firearm, I'll put on that actual log sheet. Now, it's not only good to keep information on your guns for like ATF or anything like that. I have a separate insurance policy for my guns as well, man. And with the insurance policy, it covers about $18,000 worth of guns. and it probably added maybe $12, $13 a month to my policy. With that policy, I have to keep an accurate account of all my firearms. Now, with normal homeowner policy or rental policies, they only cover about $5,000 worth of firearms. That's why I went and got a separate policy for my firearms, because I have more than just $5,000 worth of guns. So if a fire happens, or if somebody comes in and steals or something like that, you know, I want that policy there to cover it. I also have security systems and all that stuff that I have documented and all that stuff for my gun closet. You know, if the gun closet door is open and the alarm is active, it'll go off. You know, I have other measures also to get pictures of whoever's in there, video of whoever's in there, and all that kind of stuff. But moving on, when it comes to insuring your guns, it's probably a good idea to do that also. And with that, you're going to need to log your guns as well, man. Just like I said, man, I have a whole bunch of just different guns that I keep all of my guns in this log, and I try to keep it as organized as I can, man. You know, sometimes I might buy multiple guns and they might be sitting for a while before I put them in this log sheet, but I eventually get them in my log book and I log it. And I do have backups. You know, I have it on a hard drive. I have it on Dropbox online. I have it on the iCloud. You know, I'm an Apple man, so I love Apple. So I back all my documents and stuff backed up on iCloud. So if I do need to get to it, I have it on there also. So if you have multiple guns or just one gun, man, you need to find a way to log your stuff to where if something were to happen, you know, you would get it. Now, investigations, when it comes to me, whenever I investigated a stolen handgun or something like that, I would go to the person and I would get their handgun information. And it is a lot easier when you are able to pull out a book or pull out something that shows the picture of the gun, the serial number, and all that stuff. And the reason why is because, let's say years down the road, they find that gun. All right, and I've had this happen in an investigation where I found a gun that was reported as stolen, and there were no serial numbers because they didn't have the serial numbers to it. Well, only thing that I could do at that time is go and pull an ATF search on that gun, and the last owner that was actually put in the database was the owner that I was calling. Now, the only problem with that is if, so let's say you go through just doing like a personal transaction through one person to another, which I've sold a gun to my brother and we didn't do the ATF 4473 paperwork. All right, so if I were to do a ATF record search on that firearm that I sold to my brother, it will still be in my name through ATF paperwork. So if that gun gets stolen from my brother and he does a report and he does not put the serial number on it, whenever they find that gun and they go to find the owner, they're going to be calling me to return the gun back to me. And that is one of the problems with not having any serial numbers on your guns, because if you don't go through I'm not going to say the correct, but if you don't go through the paperwork to file with ATF saying that that is your gun, then that gun is still going to be in the other person's name that actually has filed that ATF 4473. All right, so that is why it's good to have all your information, serial numbers, make, model, pictures of it, all in one, because if you do happen to get one of your firearms stolen, you'll have all the information. So when I do an NCIC search on that firearm to see if it's been stolen or anything like that, it will come back to your name. Also, guys, whenever you're purchasing a firearm from somebody or even selling it, just make it a good practice, because this could be a problem. If you purchase a firearm from somebody, make sure you get their name, their date of birth, and some kind of identifying number for them, like their driver's license number. I always get a driver's license number. I put my driver's license number on there as well when I'm selling or purchasing from an individual. Now, when it comes to, you know, purchasing from an FFL or something like that, and you fill out that ATF 4473 paperwork, the ATF paperwork, it's not that big of a deal because all that information is going to be on there. But individual purchasing between two individual parties, you want to make sure you get the name, the date of birth, and some kind of identifying number, like a driver's license number or something like that. Now, I wouldn't say a social security number and go that far, but at least get a driver's license number or something like that. If they're not willing to give that to you, man, don't do it. And the reason why I say that is because I've done investigations where we find a gun on somebody, we run the gun number, and it was involved in some kind of crime, or it might have been stolen or anything like that. And if you don't have the person you got the gun from as well as the purchase date, then you could be in some trouble, because that purchase date shows that you got it after the gun was actually stolen and who you got it from, or you got it after the actual crime was committed and who you got it from or whatever. So it would take the heat off of you when it comes to that investigation. All right, now this is how I keep track of mine, man. I haven't seen many other ways how people keep track of their guns. This is how I keep track of mine. This is how I feel like the safest way, the best way to keep track of my guns, based on my experience as a law enforcement officer, answering calls of stolen firearms or just found firearms. I might find a firearm and we can't connect it to any kind of crime or anything like that. We still need to get it back to their owner. So if I do an NCIC search, and I do that first before I do an ATF search, I do an NCIC search first, because that is the best way to find the actual owner of that gun. If I do an NCIC search and it comes back nothing, I'm going to do an ATF search based on the serial number, and this is going to show me who actually purchased that gun. And it's usually it's the actual initial owner. It's not the last purchaser. It's usually the initial owner, because if you, like I said before, if you do if you sell the gun here in North Carolina, and this is only in North Carolina, I don't know about any other states, but in North Carolina, it allows you to do a personal sale between two people. You don't have to go through an FFL or anything like that. You can do a personal search between two people. Here in North Carolina, you can sell a gun with a bill of sale of the firearm. All you need is some information of the make, the model, serial number, and things of that sort on that bill of sale, and you'll be good to sell that gun to another person. Now, I'm not going to go into what all you need to make sure it's okay to sell to that person, because that's a slippery slope. You know what I'm saying? I make sure by making sure that person has a purchase permit. I'll take a picture of that purchase permit and put it with that bill of sale when I sell that gun, or that concealed carry permit. I'll take a picture with it and put it with the bill of sale when I do that transaction, and that I feel like covers me into making sure that person was okay to sell that gun, because there's, you know, you don't want to be selling a gun to a convicted felon or anything like that, because that ultimately could get you in trouble. So these are the things that I do when it comes to selling a gun and keeping track of the guns I actually have on hand in my gun closet. Okay. It's best to try to keep as many records as you can. I go from, if I buy offline, I take the receipt that I bought offline and the receipt that I get from the FFL dealer when I do purchase that gun. When I do the transaction of putting it in my name at the FFL. I go through all that, man, because that ATF story, man, that scared me, because that actual gun that they found was actually used in a robbery, and they actually used that firearm to harm somebody. So I don't know the actual, I don't know the specifics of it, but I know it was used to harm somebody and it was used in a robbery. So it scared me enough to take this extra mile to log my firearms and make sure that I know exactly where they are and what happened to them and the serial numbers and all that stuff. So that's the best way to do it, man. All right, guys, man. So that's it, man. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Make sure you're responsible gun owners, man, and make sure you keep all the paperwork that you have. Make sure you like my videos, man. Subscribe to my channel, man, and y'all know what it is. I'm out.